The dream is alive. A beachside view, a laptop, your US business humming along while you sip a smoothie in Bali. You take client calls from Portugal, schedule meetings in Japan, and manage your team across time zones. But then the questions start creeping in. Are you even allowed to do this? Are you breaking any laws? What happens to your taxes? Can you really run your US registered company from a hammock in Thailand? This is where the digital nomad fantasy collides with reality, because the answer is not a simple yes or no. It is layered, legal, and laced with red tape. And if you do not understand it, you are not just risking fines. You are risking your business. Today, we are going to uncover the truth. We will break down whether you can legally run your US business while living abroad, how digital nomad visas actually work, and the hidden traps no one warns you about. If freedom is the goal, clarity is the map, and this might be the guide you did not know you needed. Yes, you can run it, but that is not the whole story. Let us clear one thing up. Yes, you can run a US-based business from anywhere in the world. There is no law that says you must physically be inside the United States to own or operate a company registered there. As long as your entity is properly set up, LLC, S-Corp, C-Corp, and you have the right digital infrastructure, you can absolutely manage it remotely. But there is a twist. You may still owe US taxes. Even if you spend all year abroad, the IRS considers you a US person if you are a citizen or green card holder. That means your global income is still subject to American taxation. So while you are soaking up the sun in Croatia, your accountant back home is preparing a tax return that includes everything you earned, no matter where the clients are, where the income originated, or where you spent your year. That is the first curveball. The second, your visa status matters just as much as your tax status. Living abroad does not mean you are legally working there. Most countries do not allow you to simply enter on a tourist visa and start operating your business, even remotely. This is where digital nomad visas come in and where things get complicated. Digital nomad visas freedom or financial trap? Digital nomad visas have exploded in popularity. Over 50 countries now offer them, and each one claims to be the perfect escape for remote workers. But they are not all created equal. Some are generous, giving you 1 to 2 years of legal stay, minimal reporting requirements, and no local taxes if your income comes from abroad. Others, they come with hidden strings attached. Let us take a closer look. Most digital nomad visas require you to prove your income, usually through bank statements, tax returns, or employment contracts. Some set minimum monthly earnings, ranging from $1,000 to over $5,000. This is to ensure you will not become a burden on their economy. But here is the critical point. Many countries still tax you if you stay long enough to become a tax resident. This usually happens after 183 days, roughly 6 months. If you cross that line, you may be considered a resident for tax purposes, which could mean filing a second tax return, registering your business locally, or paying local income taxes. Suddenly, the paradise you escaped to becomes a compliance nightmare. And then there are the fees, application fees, translation fees, background checks, health insurance requirements. Some countries want notarized documents. Others want apostilled versions. If you are not careful, you will spend more on paperwork than plane tickets. This does not mean nomad visas are bad. Some are excellent, but only if you know the rules. The key is to understand the difference between legal residency, tax residency, and business registration. Most people blur the lines, and that is how they get burned. The three-legged stool: business, taxes, and immigration. Here is where most digital nomads get it wrong. They assume that, because they are working online, borders no longer matter. But governments do not see it that way. There are 3 systems you need to understand, and each one speaks a different language. Business registration: where is your company legally formed? Tax obligation: where are you taxed based on citizenship, residence, and income? Immigration status: what gives you the right to stay in a country and work, even remotely? If you only answer 1 or 2 of those questions, you are flying blind. Let us break it down. Say you are a US citizen with an LLC in Delaware. You move to Spain on a digital nomad visa. You work from cafes, make money through your US clients, and pay yourself a salary. You think you are fine, The business is legal, and you have a visa. But here is the catch: after 6 months, Spain considers you a tax resident. That means you must now declare your global income to Spanish tax authorities. Your US salary, your dividends, your crypto gains, all of it could be taxed. And Spain is not alone. Italy, Portugal, Germany, they all follow the same principle. You now have two choices: file and pay taxes in Spain, or leave before the 6-month mark. Neither is simple, and neither is risk-free. And this is where most digital nomads panic, because no one warned them about this moment. The solution: you need a strategy that aligns all three pillars: business structure, tax residency, and visa status. Miss one, and the whole system wobbles. How the smart nomads do it: structures that actually work. The people who thrive as global entrepreneurs are not the ones chasing every country with a digital nomad visa. They are the ones who build intentional systems. Here is how they do it. First, they keep their business registered in a stable, tax-efficient jurisdiction, often the US, Estonia, or Singapore. They use tools that let them manage payroll, banking, and compliance from anywhere. They separate personal tax risk from corporate compliance. Second, they choose countries that do not tax foreign, earned income or offer territorial taxation. Countries like Panama, Georgia, and the UAE have become popular for this exact reason. They do not chase you for money you earned elsewhere. Third, they build mobility into their lifestyle. Instead of staying 183 days in one place, they rotate every 3 to 5 months. This way, they avoid becoming tax residents anywhere. It takes discipline, but it works. Fourth, they maintain professional accounting. In both their home country and abroad, they do not guess. They do not hope. They hire specialists who understand international tax law, and they budget for it. This is not about avoiding taxes. It is about building a system where you are not double taxed, penalized, or blindsided by laws you never knew existed. The dream is real, but the dream requires structure. Why banking and payment processing can break your entire setup. Most entrepreneurs obsess over where to register their business or which visa to apply for, but they forget the one system that can quietly destroy everything: banking. You might think that once your US business is set up, your Stripe account is running, and your PayPal works overseas, you are in the clear. But the second you start living abroad long-term, banks and payment processors start asking questions. Where are you logging in from? Why is your IP bouncing across continents? Why are funds being withdrawn from a cafe in Argentina and deposited in Delaware? These red flags trigger compliance reviews, account freezes, or worse, termination. US banks and platforms operate under strict anti-fraud and KYC regulations. If your digital footprint starts looking erratic or inconsistent with your registration documents, you will face challenges accessing your own money. Some nomads discover this the hard way: blocked transfers, suspended merchant accounts, or random requests for proof of address they can no longer provide. And when that happens, business halts. This is why successful nomads build redundancy: multiple bank accounts, backup processors, virtual address services, domestic phone lines that still work abroad. They maintain a clean digital presence that matches their business documentation. Because in this game, it is not just about staying legal, it is about staying operational. And if your money gets stuck, your freedom vanishes overnight. You can run it, but you must design it. Yes, you can run a US business while living abroad. You can build teams, grow revenue, and enjoy sunsets in 10 different time zones. But freedom without structure is a trap. And if you do not understand the systems beneath the lifestyle, they will catch up with you. So before you post that photo of your laptop on the beach, ask yourself the real questions. Where is your company registered? Where are you living legally? Where are you paying taxes? And most importantly, what will this lifestyle cost you in the long run? Because the price of freedom is always structured. And once you master the game, you can go anywhere without looking over your shoulder. If this opened your eyes, do not stop here. Watch the next video. It could be the one that helps you design a life that is not just free, but secure.